Hey guys and ghouls, welcome back to the Cozy Ghost. I'm your host October, and welcome back to Cozy Ghost Babbles, a series where I babble on about whatever I want for 10 minutes. It's usually due to a spinning wheel that tells me what to talk about, so let's get right on over to the spinning wheel. Alright, we've got the wheel up and we are ready to spin. Let's get spinning. Let's see what we're talking about today. Hey! Five Nights at Freddy's! Oh, I love talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. I could talk about Five Nights at Freddy's for ages. For ages. I love Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's start the timer now. I love Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's is my favorite video game series of all time. I don't know if I could tell you all of the reasons why I love the series. It's so specific. It's a very specific type of horror. Five Nights at Freddy's is the Five Nights at Freddy's game is an indie horror that came out in, I think, 2013, 2014. 2014, because the 10-year anniversary was last year. But it was just so unique in a lot of really interesting ways because the storytelling was very environmental, and the chances of you seeing it were very low. Like, you had to piece together the story when it came out, which is so cool. I would love to create a game that does that now. And I might, so watch out. But it was really interesting because you get, like, the snippets of story from the phone guy telling you, like, how to do the job, why it's a little sketchy. But the rest of the story would come from the fact that there would be posters on the walls of the hallways through the cameras occasionally. Once in a blue moon there'd be one. So it's like fascinating to think about the fact that people latched onto that and picked out details and put together a story. Because the second game came out, if I'm not mistaken, the same year or the year after, and did something similar, like added more lore, added more story. The third game did the same thing. I think it's really funny because almost every game after the second one, people have been like, oh, this is the perfect ending to the series. So glad it's ending here. And then the next game would come out. I got into Five Nights at Freddy's by watching Markiplier play it, as I'm sure many people have. When I was a kid, I got it. I was a kid. It's crazy to think about. But I watched him play it, and it was so surreal, because I didn't get into it immediately. I think I got into it when the third game came out. Which is funny, because the third game is one of my favorites. Springtrap is my favorite animatronic, period. I think his design is really cool. I think the lore surrounding him is even cooler. I think William Afton as a character is really, really cool. I could gush just about the way that... Well, here's my thing with Five Nights at Freddy's that I really, really love. Everybody has their own idea of what the lore actually is. And none of them are right. Not one person is correct in their interpretation. Partially because the creator doesn't know the way the story is going. But also just because it's so complicated and convoluted and can mean so many things that it's really hard to pin down what part of the lore means what. And especially it's hard to pick down the timeline. I tried to sketch out the timeline weeks ago, and I kept getting confused and frustrated because I was like, wait, but doesn't this happen before that? So if this were to happen before that, then that's not how that works. Specifically about which child was killed first. Was it Charlie or was it one of the kids? Because there's the whole idea that William Afton has 3 children. Elizabeth, actually canonically named that. Michael, actually canonically named that. And then the crying child, who is the third kid, whose name is kind of up in the air. A lot of people have recently been saying that his name is Dave. And I can't tell you why, but personally, I grew up calling him Evan. So I'm going to continue to call him Evan just for the purposes. Until something official comes out saying that his name is something else, I'm going to call him Evan. So Evan is the youngest child. I mean that very strongly. He is the youngest child. But he died first out of the 3 children. But the real question is if he died before, I want to say that he died before Charlie. And by Charlie, I mean Charlotte Emily, Henry Emily's daughter. Henry Emily being the business partner of William Afton that had to cut William out and was the one who ended up drawing us all to the pizzeria and Pizzeria Sim. God, guys, I love Five Nights at Freddy's. It is so cool. Let me rank the games for you real quick. For me personally, and a lot of people are going to argue with me on this, it goes Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Let me put this higher. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator. Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. And then, Five Nights at Freddy's 3. And then Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And then the rest. And I have a very specific reason for this order. Security Breach is my favorite because it's the longest game, period. It also has the most memorable aesthetics. It's just so gorgeous. I will be playing that game on this channel 100% because I really love it. But it's just so pretty. I like the number of endings it has. It's not the only one that have multiple endings. But I just really love the way that it's tied in. Now, lore-wise, I don't even know where to get started on Security Breach. I wish they had done more with that game. I really do, because it could have been amazing. I still love it. It's still my favorite game. It could have been so much more. But before I get bogged down in the details for Security Breach, I also want to talk about Pizzeria Simulator. Pizzeria Simulator was so genius. Like, it is one of the most genius games of the series, in my opinion, because it takes something so simple. It takes a pizzeria simulator and it attunes it specifically to the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. And then it gives you this whole background of lore. It is the perfect story ending to the series. I 100% agree with everybody. That ending monologue is so beautiful and so heart-wrenching. That deserved to be end of the series. However, since I love Five Nights at Freddy's, I'm glad that it's not. But yeah, it's insanely good. Just the story, the way it's done. It's the only one of the games that's not tied to time. I think. I could be wrong. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. But it's not like you're watching the clock go down type of game. It's you need to do these tasks. You can be there as long as you need to be. And you kind of control a lot of it, which is really cool. I love customizable stuff. And then Sister Location has to go below that one because Sister Location introduced a lot of newer stuff. And by stuff, I mean it introduced a new type of lore in the hand unit, the voice. It introduced Ennard as a character, and the extra custom nights, they introduced that other piece of lore that shows that Michael walking home was the carrier for Ennard. And recovered. Recovered is the key thing here. And if you complete all of them with 3 stars, you get that extra cutscene that proves canonically that Michael is William Afton's son. And that was just a fucking mind-blowing piece of information to get. Like, canonically. 100% canon to the story. That's absurd. That's crazy. That was wild. Oh my god, it was so good. So good. But I remember watching, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 came out, and the game, everyone finished playing the game. Markiplier was like, oh, this is such a good ending to the series. No. Not that it wouldn't have been a good ending, but, like, no, there's more coming. And while I was waiting for the next game to come out, I remember watching a ton of iHas Cupquake. I was rewatching Markiplier's videos. And then I remember watching Markiplier's videos coming out and being super excited for the next one. And I got super excited when I saw the one that he did with Jack Black for the Goosebumps movie. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's is such a specific genre-changing game. Five Nights at Freddy's invented the mascot horror genre as a genre of game. Like, were there mascot horror games before that? Yes, technically. Five Nights at Freddy's solidified that genre. 100% made it a genre. Bending Machine is what solidified it immediately after that. Five Nights at Freddy's is the genre definer. And it is so good. I know a lot of people are done with the series. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm done after this one, or I'll be done after the next one. I don't think I will ever be done with Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's is so cool. It is literally... Five Nights at Freddy's is literally the reason I want to be a game designer. That is the only reason. Five Nights at Freddy's was there for me when a lot of things weren't. Five Nights at Freddy's is the reason for a ton of things in my life. And I will forever be grateful for the series. And for Markiplier's playthrough of the series. It's so good. Unfortunately for me, my time is up, so I will have to continue talking about Five Nights at Freddy's in another video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any strong Five Nights at Freddy's opinions that I can battle with, please leave them down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!